History of Edgardo A. Tijing and Benvenida R. Tijing versus Court of Appeals and Angelita Diamante. The petitioner Edgardo A. Tijing and Benvenida R. Tijing are husband and wife. They have 6 children. The youngest is Edgardo A. Tijing Jr., who was born on April 27, 1989 at the clinic of midwife and registered nurse Lourdes Vasquez in Santa Ana, Manila. Petitioner Benvenida served as the laundry woman of private respondent Angelita Diamante, then the resident of Tondo, Manila. According to Benvenida, in August 1989, Angelita went to her house to fetch her for an Orient laundry job. Since Benvenida was on her way to do some marketing, she asked Angelita to wait until she returned. She also left her 4-month-old son, Edgardo Jr., under the care of Angelita, as usually let Angelita take care of his child while Benvenida was doing laundry. When Benvenida returned from the market, Angelita and Edgardo Jr. were gone. Benvenida forthwith proceeded to Angelita's house in Tondo, Manila, but did not find them there. Angelita's maid told Benvenida that her employer went out for a stroll and told Benvenida to come back later. She returned to Angelita's house after 3 days, only to discover that Angelita had moved to another place. Benvenida then complained to her barangay chairman and also to police, who seems unmoved by her place for assistance. 4 years later, or in October 1993, Benvenida read in a tabloid about the death of Tomas Lopez, allegedly the common law husband of Angelita, and those remains were lying in state in Hagonoy, Bulacan. Benvenida lost no time in going to Hagonoy, Bulacan, where she allegedly saw her son, Edgardo Jr. for the first time. After 4 years, she claims the boy who was pointed out to her by Benjamin Lopez, a brother of late Tomas Lopez, was already named John Tomas Lopez. She avers that Angelita refused to return her the boy despite of demand do so.
Bienvenida and Edgardo filed their petition for habeas corpus with the trial court in order to recover their son. To substantiate their petition, petitioners presented 2 witnesses, namely Lourdes Vasquez and Benjamin Lopez. The first witness, Vasquez, testified that she assisted in the delivery of one Edgardo Tijing Jr. on April 27, 1989, at her clinic in Santa Ana, Manila. She supported her testimony with her clinical records. The second witness, Benjamin Lopez, declared that his brother, the late Tomas Lopez, could not have possibly fathered John Tomas Lopez as the latter was sterile. He recalled that Thomas met an accident and bumped his private part against the edge of a banca, causing him excruciating pain and eventual loss of his childbearing capacity. Benjamin further declared that Thomas admitted to him that John Tomas Lopez was only an adopted son and that he and Angelita were not blessed with children. For her part, Angelita claimed that she is the natural mother of the child. She asserts that at the age of 42, she gave birth to John Tomas Lopez on April 27, 1989, at the clinic of midwife Susima Panganiban in Singalong, Manila. She added, though, that she has 2 other children with her real husband, Angel Sanchez. She said that birth of John Tomas was registered by her common law husband, Tomas Lopez, with the local civil registrar of Manila on August 4, 1989. On March 10, 1995, The trial court concluded that since Angelita and her common law husband could not have children, the alleged birth of John Thomas Lopez is an impossibility. The trial court also held that the minor and Bienvenida showed strong facial similarity. Accordingly, it ruled that Edgardo Tijing Jr. and John Thomas Lopez are one of the same person who is the natural child of petitioners.
Wherefore, premises considered judgment is hereby rendered granting the petition of habeas corpus, as such as respondent Angelita Diamante is ordered to immediately release from her personal custody minor John Thomas D. Lopez and turn him over and or surrender his person to petitioners, spouses Edgardo A. Tijing and Benvenida R. Tijing immediately upon receipt hereof. Angelita seasonably filed her notice of appeal. Nonetheless, on August 3, 1994, the sheriff implemented the order of the trial court by taking custody of the minor. In his report, the sheriff stated that Angelita peacefully surrendered the minor and he turned over the custody of said child to petitioner Edgardo Tijing. On appeal, the Court of Appeals reversed and set aside the decisions rendered by the trial court. The appellate court expressed its doubts and the propriety of the habeas corpus. In its view, the evidence induced by Benvenida was not sufficient to establish that she was the mother of the minor. It ruled that the lower court erred in declaring that Edgardo Tijing Jr. and John Thomas Lopez are one and the same person, and disposed of the case thus. In view of the foregoing, the decision of the lower court dated March 10, 1995 is hereby reversed and a new one entered dismissing the petition in respect proclamation number 94-71606 and directing the custody of the minor, John Thomas Lopez, to be returned to respondent Angelita Diamante, said minor having been under of the care said respondent at the time of the filing of the petition herein.
In the Supreme Court's view, the crucial issues for resolutions are the following. First, whether or not habeas corpus is proper remedy. And second is whether or not Edgardo Tijing Jr. and John Thomas Lopez are one and the same person and is the son of the petitioners. We shall discuss the two issues together since they are closely related. The writ of habeas corpus extends to all cases of illegal confinement or detention by which any person is deprived of his liberty, or by which the rightful custody of any person is withheld from the person entitled thereto. Thus, it is the proper legal remedy to enable parents to regain the custody of a minor child, even if the latter be in the custody of a third person of his own free will. It may even be said that in custody cases involving minor, the questions of illegal and involuntary restraint or liberty is not the underlying rationale for the availability of the writ as a remedy. Rather, it is prosecuted for the purpose of determining the right of custody over a child. It must be stressed too that in habeas corpus proceedings, the question of identity is relevant and material, subject to the usual presumptions, including those as to identity of the person. In this case, the minor's identity is crucial in determining the propriety of the writ sought. Thus, it must be resolved first whether the Edgardo Tijing Jr. claimed by Bienvenida to be her son is the same minor named John Thomas Lopez, whom Angelita insists to be her offspring. We must first determine who between Bienvenida and Angelita is the minor's biological mother. Evidence must necessarily be adduced to prove that the two persons initially thought of to be distinct and separate from each other, are indeed one and the same. Petitioner must convincingly establish that the minor in whose behalf the application for the writ is made is the person upon whom they have rightful custody. If there is a doubt on the identity of the minor in whose behalf the application for the writ is made, petitioners cannot invoke with certainty the right of custody over the said minor.
Since the conclusions of the Court of Appeals contradict those of the trial court, the Supreme Court scrutinized the evidence on the record to determine which findings should be preferred as more conformable to the evidentiary facts. A close scrutiny of the records of this case reveals that the evidence presented by Benvenida is sufficient to establish that John Thomas Lopez is actually her missing son Edgardo Tijing Jr. First evidence. First, there is evidence that Angelita could no longer bear children. From her very lips, she admitted that after the birth of her second child, she underwent ligation at the Martinez Hospital in 1970. Before she lived with Thomas Lopez without the benefit of marriage in 1974. Assuming she had that ligation removed in 1978, as she claimed, she offered no evidence she gave birth to a child between 1978 to 1988, or for a period of 10 years. The midwife who allegedly delivered the child was not presented in court. No clinical records, logbook, or discharge order from the clinic were ever submitted. Second, there is strong evidence which directly proves that Thomas Lopez is no longer capable of siring a son. Benjamin Lopez declared in court that his brother, Thomas, was sterile because of the accident and that Thomas admitted to him that John Thomas Lopez was only an adopted son. Moreover, Thomas Lopez and his legal wife, Maria Rapatan Lopez, had no children after almost 15 years together. Though Thomas Lopez had lived with private respondent for 14 years, they also bore no offspring.
Third, we find unusual the fact that the birth certificate of John Thomas Lopez was filed by Thomas Lopez instead of the midwife, and on August 4, 1989, 4 months after the alleged birth of the child. Under the law, the attending physician of midwife in attendance at birth should cause the registration of child's birth. Only in default for the physician or midwife can the parent register the birth of his child. The certificate must be filed with the local service registrar within 30 days after the birth. Significantly, the birth certificate of the child stated Thomas Lopez and private respondent were legally married on October 31, 1974 in Hagonoy, Bulacan, which is false because even private respondent had admitted she is a common law wife. This false entry puts a doubt that other data in said birth certificate. The trial court observed several times that when the child and Bienvenida were both in court, the two had strong similarities in their faces, eyes, eyebrows, and head shapes. Resemblance between a minor and his alleged parent is competent and material evidence to establish parentage. Needless to stress, the trial court's conclusion should be given high respect, it having had the opportunity to observe the physical appearances of the minor and the petitioner concerned. Lourdes Vasquez testified that she assisted in Bienvenida's giving birth to Edgardo Tijing Jr. at her clinic. Unlike private respondent, she presented clinical records consisting of a logbook, discharge order, and the signatures of petitioners. All these considered are constrained to rule that subject minor is needed the son of petitioners. The writ of habeas corpus is proper to regain custody of the said child.
After the rulings of the RTC and the Court of Appeals, the case of Edgardo Tijing was reviewed by the Supreme Court. And in a final note, parentage will still be resolved using conventional methods unless we adopt the modern and scientific ways available. Fortunately, we have now the facility and expertise in using DNA tests for identification and parentage testing. The University of the Philippines Natural Science Research Institute, or the UPNSRI DNA Analysis Laboratory, has now the capability to conduct DNA typing using the short tandem repeat, or the STR analysis. The analysis is based on the fact that the DNA of the child or person has two copies, one copy from the mother and the other from the father. The DNA from the mother, the alleged father, and the child are analyzed to establish parentage. Of course, being a novel scientific technique, the use of DNA tests as evidence is still open to challenge. Eventually, as the appropriate case comes, courts should not hesitate to rule on the admissibility of DNA evidence. For it was said that courts should apply the result of science when competently obtained in aid of situations presented, since to reject said result is to deny progress. Though it is not necessary in this case to resort to DNA testing, in future, it would be useful to all concerned in the prompt resolution of parentage and identity issues. And during the review of the Supreme Court of the case of Edgardo Tijing, there were already a DNA test in our country, and the UP, or the University of the Philippines, has the capability to conduct a DNA testing using the STR, or the short tandem repeat. But instead of using DNA, the Supreme Court preferably reinstated the decisions of the regional trial court because of the strong evidences, which is the testimonial evidence of the midwife and the brother of the respondent. Wherefore, the instant petition is granted, the sale decision of the Court of Appeals is reversed, and the decision of the regional trial court is reinstated. Costs against the private respondent.